Today I'm reacting to your Friday Night SmackDown Hot Takes. Hot Takes is a weekly video series where I give you all a platform to be able to voice your thoughts, whether they're good thoughts, bad thoughts, or everything in between about the world of professional wrestling. So if you'd like to be featured in the next episode of Hot Takes, make sure that you follow me on X because I ask for your hot takes there after every episode of Raw, SmackDown, and every single WWE Premium Live event. And if you're looking for our review of this episode of Friday Night SmackDown, it's already up and available on the Patreon over at patreon.com/SantiZab alongside a whole host of extra content that never gets uploaded here to YouTube. So go check it out, patreon.com/SantiZab. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know you're going to fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, folks, let's read your stupid shit. They need to end the business between Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline. Listen, I'm personally excited to see Solo Sikoa back in the WWE, but I'm excited to see him back so that WWE can explore his relationships with Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. I am in no way, shape, or form at all interested in Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes again. I left that shit back in 2024. But it just sort of feels like this is WWE's comfort food, that they know that they can always just rely on the good old Cody Rhodes overcoming the Bloodline yet again story arc. But it does sort of feel like they're always digging into this bag of tricks. This is now called by the internet wrestling community Cody Rhodes in the Bloodline vortex because it seems like he can never get out of it, even though he stated a couple of months ago that he was done with the Bloodline. But listen, there is, I guess, a silver lining to them running this now. The silver lining being is that they can get it out of the way before WrestleMania, because when we look at the competitors going into Elimination Chamber, there are no Bloodline members. So at the very least, we should be getting Cody Rhodes versus somebody not in the Bloodline at WrestleMania, which is a good thing. But to me, just going back to Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes just seems lazy, and it just feels like they're just not putting any creative thought into this, considering they're off the back of the absolutely fantastic feud between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. So it looks like they just want to give Cody Rhodes something quick to do before he can fully focus on whoever his WrestleMania opponent is going to be. Now, me personally, if they are going to run Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes yet again, I hope they just add Jacob Fatu to it, just so at the very least we have a new wrinkle into this story arc. Because as it stands, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, I couldn't be any less interested if you forced me. The Miz should win the United States Championship at WrestleMania in a ladder match. The United States title needs prestige, and the perfect guy to give it prestige is The Miz. He showed us that he can already do it when he was Intercontinental Champion years ago. It all depends on what kind of Miz they're willing to give to us. This Miz that we got on Friday Night SmackDown, that's the guy. That is the Hall of Fame Miz that we want to see be in the Intercontinental or United States Championship picture. The Miz that frankly we have not gotten in a very, very long time. Because The Miz quickly reminded the world that this man is one of the elites when it comes to character work and when it comes to mic work on WWE TV. This guy's unbelievably good. I'm at the point, because Shinsuke Nakamura's reign is so poor and so ill-booked, that I just want them to try something different, something new. And if that something different, something new ends up being The Miz, then I'm in. Sure, why not? I'm honestly fine with The Miz becoming United States Champion, whether it's at WrestleMania, yesterday, or next week. Be a women's midcard champion. Never defend your title. Be in the Elimination Chamber qualifiers for some reason. Get pinned. Profit. Most relevant titles of all time. Obviously, a lot of sarcasm here, but there's something to be said here. What's going on with the women's midcard? Look, at the very least, we can say that Naomi versus Chelsea Green was a fantastic match, and so was Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. But all that does is just remind us that Lyra Valkyria and Chelsea Green are great workers, which we already know, which is the reason why we wanted a women's midcard championship and division in the first place. You can't just award the championship and just assume that you fix the problem of the midcard in the women's side of things. You know, you need to actually develop them as champions, develop storylines, develop the actual division. And I know WWE is absolutely capable of it because they're in the process of rebuilding the tag team division basically from scratch on both SmackDown and on Raw, and they're doing a really great job. So when WWE wants to actually give tender love and care to a division and to a set of champions, they can do wonderful things. So now we need them to put their thinking caps on and do this for the women's midcard, for the love of God. When I look at Chelsea Green, she's got nothing to do except every single week have something with Michin, which has been the case since the championship was awarded all the way back in December. And when we look at Lyra Valkyria, she's just had hints of feuds with Ivy Nile. She hasn't even had a proper storyline developed yet for her Women's Intercontinental Championship, and we are nearly a month into her reign. So yeah, there is a lot of work to be done here to really fix these championships, and I hope to God that they do this before WrestleMania, because this would be detrimental to not have these championships on the first WrestleMania that they're eligible to be a part of. Screw Cody Rhodes, Jacob should have won. Now we get Damian, quote, no sell a nuke, end quote, Priest. The sight of him and Cody made me physically ill. What a way to ruin a great match. Man, I don't think I could ever say that anything in WWE has made me physically ill. Okay, maybe the Katie Vick storyline. That one's pretty fucking gross. I will say, if you go and watch my reactions to this episode of Friday Night SmackDown, you'll see me groan. When Cody's music hits, I was like, here we go. This is how we get Damian Priest winning here. And I get why they did it the way that they did it. They wanted to protect Jacob Fatu from taking a pin here, and they also wanted to protect Jacob Fatu from taking a pin in the Elimination Chamber. But god damn it, man, WWE is getting painfully predictable when it comes to Damian Priest. I know it's an exaggeration to say no sell a nuke, but sometimes it freaking feels that way with Damian Priest. The match was fantastic. I like the chaotic nature of everything that happened, the stuff with Solo, Jacob, Tama Tonga, Cody Rhodes, that craziness that happened outside of the ring. But it was, again, groan-inducing for this to just be a setup to have Damian Priest win yet again. It's kind of wild. Honestly, Damian Priest, if you look at his track record since losing the championship at SummerSlam, this guy just doesn't lose. This guy doesn't take pins. This guy's as equally protected as the likes of Cody freaking Rhodes. And I just don't think that he's on that same level in terms of star power, in terms of overall reception from the crowd. There's a lot of people, again, to be fair, a lot of the online people that are rejecting this Damian Priest push, to the point that people rejected Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre even being a possibility at WrestleMania. I knew from the onset that Damian Priest was going to win. No ifs, ands, or buts. But the way that they went about it, I thought it was pretty corny. SmackDown was great, and one of the reasons is Vic Joseph and his unbelievable chemistry with Wade Barrett. Okay, I think I have something controversial to say. SmackDown has felt really slow, and it's felt like those 3 hours have dragged on. And unfortunately, I think it's partly Joe Tessitore. I feel like he doesn't really do a great job of getting me from point A to point B to point C in this excited nature. I just sort of feel like I'm having to just sort of float my way to the next segment on Friday Night SmackDown. Meanwhile, Vic Joseph is bang, 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 and so crisp, and does a great job of taking the audience through a great roller coaster of emotions, where it doesn't feel like I watched a 15-minute match. It feels like I watched a super fast-paced 5-minute match that just happened to take place over 15 minutes. That's what Vic Joseph is really great at. And like you said, he has fantastic chemistry with Wade Barrett, which, by the way, that doesn't surprise me at all, considering they were the lead commentary team of NXT for quite a long time. But honestly, I kind of want him to stay forever. I really enjoyed Vic Joseph on SmackDown. I thought that he did a fantastic job. Listen, I think the episode of SmackDown was great as a whole, but he elevated it, and I just don't think that Joe Tessitore has necessarily done that. I feel like Joe Tessitore is good at the singular moments, but I don't think that he's particularly amazing at the entire thing, at the entire journey. Meanwhile, Vic Joseph is. I hope Charlotte's knee isn't messed still. Forcing the camera person to lower the rope is a good heel move to cover up that she's still recovering. I only say that because the chick looked confused at first. So I've seen this a couple of times. Everyone seems to sort of be confused, like, oh, I'm supposed to help Charlotte. We haven't actually seen this go smoothly yet with Charlotte's new in-ring presentation with somebody helping her get into the ring. I assume her knee is fine if she just did a Royal Rumble match, if they're already cementing her as one of the headliners of WrestleMania 41. I don't think that WWE is going to be doing that if they don't believe that Charlotte Flair isn't 130% ready to go with her knee. But it's a nice little touch. I like that aspect of Charlotte of like, yeah, fucking clear the ring for me. I'm the queen. It works for me. Chelsea Green and Naomi cooked. Would love to see Naomi go after the United States title after the Chamber. Me too. That match was fantastic. I would literally love for anyone or anything to go after the United States title or the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Literally anybody, like Sonya Deville. Oh wait, no, can't do that. Maybe Blair Davenport. I can't do that either. Jesus, why are we letting these women go when we need the bodies in the mid-card? Anyways, the match was great, and I absolutely would love to see Naomi going after a mid-card championship because I think Naomi is great, and we talked about somebody like The Miz adding prestige to the United States Championship. Naomi can be that role for the United States Championship on SmackDown as well. If we end up with another Cody and Solo match, I'm going to light myself on fire. Well, folks, it is hot takes, and it doesn't get hotter than lighting yourself on fire. I mean, I knew that I didn't like the idea of Solo versus Cody, but yeah, this is over the top. But message received: you do not want Cody versus Solo Sikoa. Understood. It should be Cody versus Solo versus Jacob in a triple threat. That'll be more appealing than Cody versus Solo again. So I've already suggested this. If they're dead set of going down this path of Cody versus the Bloodline again, which they clearly are, Cody Rhodes cannot seem to leave this freaking Bloodline vortex. Just do something different. Fatal 4-way, add Tamatanga in there. Just something that isn't Cody versus Solo Sikoa again, especially not at Elimination Chamber, because I plan on going and I don't want to watch Cody versus Solo again, considering I watched them at SummerSlam. And at the very least, that was exciting because it was the looming return of Roman Reigns. This literally has zero excitement to it. There's no appealing factor to Cody versus Solo again. Dude, I cannot believe he wrestled with that. Oh my God. NXT. Oh my God. Okay, that's insane. Nah, man, that's way too high. Oh. Good God. Dude, I forgot how nasty that was, actually. That was a sneak peek of this week's Wrestling is Cool Match Club, available exclusively over on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're looking at Torn Pec Cody Rhodes going up against Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell 2022. The amazing Ruthless Aggression triple threat match between The Undertaker, The Rock, and Kurt Angle at Vengeance 2002. A Ring of Honor classic between Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, and Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins, back in 2008. The real-life grudge match that involves affairs and whatnot between Matt Hardy and Edge at Unforgiven 2005 in a steel cage. And the Payback 2023 classic between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day in a Steel City street fight. You're gonna be getting this and more, like the Raw reviews, the SmackDown reviews, the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days earlier than everywhere else, the currently ongoing Undertaker WrestleMania match watch along, and the currently ongoing Royal Rumble match watch along as well. These are all pieces of content that we can never upload here to YouTube because of YouTube's copyright guidelines, making it just simply impossible for us to ever make it available here. So please go check it out, patreon.com/SantiZap. I'm confident that if you try it even for just 1 month, that you're gonna fall in love with the insane amounts of content that we upload there every single day. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support, but let's get you back to the video. Surely there's got to be a swerve coming in the whole quote, who attacked Jade, end quote, storyline. Surely the outcome can't be Liv and Raquel, right? Feels like a bit of a letdown if it isn't either Bianca or Naomi. Okay, I don't know who planned this entire little segment. That segment was just executed really poorly, right from the poor timing of actually making the clip appear. But also, this didn't prove anything. We already knew that Liv and Raquel were in the arena that night. What did this prove? That they were there? We already knew that. Congratulations, you proved that wrestlers were at a wrestling show. Yeah, of course that this is a red herring. There's no way. That would be such a letdown. If it is that, good God, that's like up there with the anonymous Raw general manager reveal that we waited months and over a year for, only for it to be Hornswoggle. Nah, this is definitely a red herring. I still believe that it's Naomi. I see you, Naomi. I see you for what you truly are. Tiffany versus Charlotte at WrestleMania can only go one of two ways. Either Charlotte wins at the expense of burying Tiffany, or they make Tiffany look incredible with a huge win over Charlotte. Wow, that is absolutely brilliant. I never thought of this. You're telling me that one of the possible results is that Charlotte wins and the other result is that Charlotte loses? How did I never think think of that? Yeah, no shit. These are the two results, dude. But let me dive deeper into this. I don't believe that Tiffany losing to Charlotte is getting buried. Charlotte is literally Charlotte, dude. We are talking about, in terms of accolades, the monster, the gatekeeper, the GOAT in WWE. Losing to Charlotte is not a burial. Now, the other side, what you mentioned, Tiffany Stratton beating Charlotte, that's a huge star-making moment. We saw it with Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39. Rhea Ripley was already on Stardom, but beating Charlotte and the fantastic match that they had catapulted her to uber mega superstardom. I'm curious if Tiffany Stratton is ready to make that leap. I don't know if she's quite ready to make the same level of leap that Rhea Ripley did after beating Charlotte. So I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte won, like genuinely. I'm actually surprised how many people are just so easily picking Tiffany Stratton. It's like they're forgetting that this is Charlotte motherfucking Flair who just wins everything. No, like legit, if you put a flamethrower down my throat and you told me to pick who's gonna win between Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton, I'm probably gonna take Charlotte because that's the safest bet. Damian Priest is so forcefully pushed. I don't see the intrigue in him at all. I don't want to agree with this. Listen, I really don't, because Damian was working for me when he was World Heavyweight Champion, but it did sort of feel like his rise stopped being organic and started becoming very synthetic, very fake, very, as you say, forced after he lost the World Championship and just started becoming super uber Damian Priest, beating everyone left, right, and center, refusing to get pinned and kicking out of like 2-3 finishers in a row. There's just something that's changed with how they handle his matches now that just makes him significantly less human, and because of that, in my opinion, just significantly far less appealing as well. I don't think that I'm on the side where I like completely despise Damian. I don't, but I understand the annoyance with Damian Priest and how he's been booked over the last several months. It's been, it hasn't been good. Sure, he's winning. That's great, but I do sense a lot of people getting tired of how Damian Priest is booked in matches. Solo's presence on SmackDown has been dearly missed. Everyone likes to hate on him, but he deserves his purpose of being an excellent accelerator for storylines. Similarly to Roman, whenever Solo is there, storylines seem to advance, which makes SmackDown somewhat bearable. So I don't think that SmackDown needs Solo Sikoa, but I do think that SmackDown is better when Solo Sikoa is there. I think you're right. I feel like Solo Sikoa is a good facilitator to advance storylines. I don't think he's at the level of Roman Reigns as you compared him to, but I do believe that he's a good accelerator. The problem is that they can't seem to find anything of interest for him to do that isn't Cody Rhodes. That's the problem. Like I said, actually, literally at the start of this video, I'm good with Solo returning, but we need to explore other things with Solo's relationships with other members of the Bloodline now that his attempted military coup of taking over the Bloodline and being the head of the table has failed. We need to see the consequences of that, not just let me go after Cody again. Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Sicks are going to return at the Elimination Chamber after Alexa Bliss wins. This is quite the fantasy booking. I don't see this happening. I don't think that Alexa Bliss is going to be winning the Elimination Chamber, but I do believe that they're going to be back. I don't think that they're going to be back on a PLE because they've never even so much as sniffed any sort of premium live event air at all since they've been returned to the WWE. But we're seeing the glitches. We're seeing the hints whenever Alexa Bliss is on screen. So to me, it's very abundantly clear that we're going to see the Wyatt Sicks either go after Alexa Bliss, recruit Alexa Bliss, or maybe Alexa Bliss is going to become its new leader. Who knows? But they're definitely going to be intertwined sometime soon. Hopefully before WrestleMania, because I would love an Alexa Bliss-led Wyatt Sicks against maybe the Judgment Day, mostly because I'd like to see Dominic Mysterio in the supernatural, spooky aspect of things. Although I didn't mind the DQ tonight, Tiffany needs to get a clean win over Nia at some point before Mania. 100% true. I need to see Tiffany beat Nia Jax properly and clean, because the only two wins that she has is a cash-in and now a disqualification victory. In fact, I'm surprised that they had Charlotte go out there and pick Tiffany Stratton after this match. To me, it felt like Charlotte was watching to see if Tiffany Stratton was worthy of being picked by the Queen, by Charlotte Flair. Let's not forget last week when Charlotte told Tiffany to get down on your hands and knees and beg for me to pick you at WrestleMania and make a star out of you. So when she won by DQ, it felt like a weird moment for Charlotte to then go out there and say, yeah, I'm picking you, Tiffy. I don't know. This didn't seem to connect. But I agree with you. I do believe that Tiffany Stratton needs to beat Nia Jax. And I don't think that beating her in a tag team environment when she teams up with Trish Stratus to take on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, I don't think that counts. I need like a proper one-on-one victory against Nia Jax for me to really take Tiffany Stratton as a serious threat to actually beat the universal threat and the ever-looming presence of Charlotte motherfucking Flair. Vic Joseph being on commentary instead of Corey subbing in tells me that either Corey really is in the doghouse for what happened, or this is going to be a brilliant work. Oh, I feel like you should throw that last bit out the window. The whole brilliant work thing, I don't think that that's a thing. I do not think that Corey Graves was working us. I think the dude was legitimately pissed, and he probably got slapped on the wrist for going off on what happened on Twitter. I'm not surprised ultimately that they went with Vic Joseph. I am a little bit, because Wade Barrett and Corey Graves are people that had chemistry with each other. They worked SmackDown before all of this craziness happened and all of the shifting in Raw Netflix, but so did Wade and Vic Joseph. They've got chemistry too from their time in NXT. And maybe this is WWE seeing if Vic Joseph could handle the bigger show, because I do see Vic Joseph being the future of play-by-play commentary once Michael Cole decides to call it a career. The moment Jacob Fatu says, "I hate you, Solo," it's going to hit like crack. Good old crack, am I right? We're getting there. We're getting there, because not only are we not getting Jacob Fatu no longer saying, "Solo, I love you," now we have Solo trying to win over Jacob Fatu by saying, "Jacob, I love you." At some point, you are right. We're going to get the Solo, "I hate you," and dude, continents are going to shift. WWE should add a stipulation in this match. Okay, so I'm confused about this. Is this a match? Because it also kind of sounded like it might just be a segment in Elimination Chamber, thus maybe setting up an actual match at WrestleMania. I hope it's a match. They're in Canada. This is like their crowd. They should absolutely have a match. If there is a match, I agree with you. Stipulation. Do not make this a one-on-one. This is a grudge match. This needs, dare I say it, a little bit of blood, a little bit of like hardcore ECW level violence. I say make this an unsanctioned match. Make this Falls Count Anywhere, last man standing, whatever it might be. This deserves a little bit of oomph behind it. Shinsuke, with the right build, could have been / could be a great United States title holder, but they just haven't used him well. It is clear that during his promo that people just don't care. It's a shame, because it was exciting when Shinsuke came back with a new character, but he never has matches. Yeah, that crowd sucks ass, man. The what chants? Why? Because he's speaking in Japanese. It's so dumb. Especially when you have a character that's supposed to be scary and has aura, to chant what during their promos is fucking stupid. Anyways, that's my opinion. You can say, we're in the wrestling crowd, we can do whatever we want. Fair enough, whatever. You paid to be there. If you decide to pay and be an asshole, all power to you, I suppose. But listen, this isn't the Shinsuke problem. This is entirely WWE's fault. Like you said, not having matches, not having feuds, not appearing on TV, appearing in the background like a creep. That's terrible. That's not a good way to book your champion, especially when the division is red hot. There's so many great names in the division. There are great mid-carders. There are great people trying to jump from low card to mid-card. There are great main eventers that could shift into the mid-card. The mid-card is hot, but it's hot without Shinsuke. It's hot without the US champion. And that to me signals that Shinsuke is going to be losing that championship sometime soon. I'm glad that Los Garzas are finally getting some sort of reaction, but I feel like Santos Escobar will keep them from getting more than just a small reaction. They'll win people over. It's their in-ring work that eventually will get them over. I don't think that Santos Escobar is necessarily going to hold them back. I feel like they actually need Santos Escobar right now, because Santos Escobar, as we've been seeing in these backstage segments, even though he has absolutely no aura and no pop when his music hits, his backstage segments and promos are really, really good. And he is a great mouthpiece for two guys that I don't think have demonstrated that can be good on the mic. So having Santos Escobar do that part of the job for them, I think is going to be really important for the Garzas to eventually actually get over with their in-ring work. We need Roman. So I think it's fair to say that we're not going to get Roman at Elimination Chamber. Some people are expecting that he might have a match. I feel like that's completely out the window. Maybe he interferes in the Elimination Chamber, takes out CM Punk, maybe takes out Seth Rollins, maybe only takes out Seth Rollins. Who knows? I would love to see Roman Reigns back on TV, because as we talked about Solo Sikoa being a needle mover in terms of making storylines move forward, Roman Reigns like absolutely accelerates story storylines at lightning speed when he's there. Although it's against Tozawa and Truth, it's great to see Melo get some wins under his belt. Hopefully this momentum keeps going into Mania and having a moment of him winning the United States title. Hey, wins are wins, and even when he loses, he wins because he is him. When he loses, it's to really establish names, establish veterans, main eventers, and he's getting the wins against the ones that he's supposed to be getting wins on. So I just don't buy this notion that they've been burying Carmelo Hayes. Like, Carmelo Hayes is there every single week and getting TV time. That is huge. Will he win the United States title? I'm almost certain that he's going to. I just don't see a world where he doesn't within at least the next 12 months, maybe even WrestleMania. Maybe this is a path of like slowly rebuilding Carmelo Hayes into being a threat to that level caliber of WWE superstar, those in the US title picture. When Trick gets called up, they should move Booker T to whatever brand he's on. I love Booker on commentary and would honestly be down for him and Vic on SmackDown. I'm down for the complete opposite. I watch NXT every single week and I cannot stand Booker T on commentary at all. I feel like the best thing about Booker T is what I call Bookerism. Sometimes he has like really great catchy one-liners and things that are just hilarious, but his just overall color commentary alongside the play-by-play of Vic Joseph has never worked for me, and I just don't think that just because Booker T adds a nice little pizzazz to Trick Williams' entrance that it's good enough to ruin the rest of the show with Booker T on commentary. I see the vision. Hey, I know we talked about not wanting Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline, but if it's Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu, for some reason that is a different story altogether. I don't want to see Cody and Roman again. I don't want to see Cody and Solo again. Cody versus Jacob Fatu, I need to see what that looks like. I need to see what that program looks like. I need to see what the match looks like before I can say I don't want this. But so basically what I'm saying is that I want this, which is very hypocritical considering I just don't want Cody in the Bloodline anymore. So look, I'm just a regular wrestling fan. I don't know what the fuck I want. Jacob is betraying Solo Sikoa soon. Solo versus Jacob is happening at WrestleMania 41. This is probably the best available match for both Jacob Fatu, who would be getting somebody that has been in the main event for the majority of 2024. That's a great first program for Jacob Fatu, and it gives Solo Sikoa something to do. Something that I mentioned in a video earlier this week is that like I literally didn't see anything for Solo Sikoa. Like if it wasn't Jacob Fatu, what could Solo Sikoa legitimately be doing at WrestleMania? I feel like the answer is actually nothing. So I feel like they both need each other for this feud. I have read the script. Carmelo Hayes and The Miz will win the tag team titles at WrestleMania. I mean, like, I don't want to see that because we've already seen The Miz win tag team gold at WrestleMania and they didn't do anything with that. I mostly just want to see them have a one-off tag team because I love the team name that Miz came up with, which is Mellow Don't Miz. Brilliant. Was really hoping for Trish versus Tiffany at some point, especially after their little interaction on Money in the Bank. Dude, yes, when Trish Stratus was shown to be at ringside, I was certain that this was the path that they were going to go down. I was certain that they were going to do Trish versus Tiffany Stratton and Money in the Bank because that would be an awesome match. This would be a great match for the crowd in Toronto as well, and a great stepping stone for Tiffany Stratton before she has to face the final boss, the final boss in Charlotte Flair. And had Tiffany Stratton won that, which we all would have expected that she would have, that's where I would have liked Charlotte to come out and say, yeah, you earned me picking you at WrestleMania. I'll see you then. I still want to see Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. I feel like that's like a perfect dream match, but sure, I guess I'll take Trishy and Tiffy time as well, teaming up for at least 1 month, but I want to see this match somewhere down the line. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of Hot Takes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Get out of here.